I'll be showing you a couple of open chords that are used, most commonly used, yes. Okay, so the definition of an open chord is any chord that has an open string in it. So the first chord I'll be teaching you is A major. So you're going to want to take your first 3 fingers and put them on the 2nd fret on the D, G and B strings. So it should look like this. Your pinky isn't on. Yeah. And then you have to strum it from the A string, the open A string, so it sounds kind of nice. Make sure when you're playing it, your palm doesn't mute the last string. You don't want to be hearing that. You want to be hearing all the strings. Alright, so just to go over that again, you put your first 3 fingers on the D, G and B strings of the 2nd fret, and that's an A major chord. Okay, the second chord I'm going to be teaching you today is the E major chord, which is if you take your first finger and you want to place that on the 3rd string up from the bottom, which will be the B string, and you want your 2nd and 3rd fingers on the 2nd fret on the A and D strings, and you strum that from the open E, sorry, not open A. And the same as the A major chord, you don't want to be palm muting, well, you don't want to be muting the higher strings, so yeah, you just, okay, so that's your first finger on the 1st fret on the B string, your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret on the A string, and your 3rd finger 2nd fret D string. Once again, that chord is called E major. Okay, the next chord I'll be teaching you is D major. So you want to take your first finger, place it on the G string, sorry, on the 2nd fret. You take your 2nd finger, place that on the high E string on the 2nd fret, and your 3rd finger on the B string of the 3rd fret, and that should sound like should look like that. Kind of little trio, little thing going on. Yep. Okay, so again, that's your first finger on the G string of the 2nd fret, 2nd finger high E string, 2nd fret, 3rd finger, 3rd fret B string, D major chord, and you strum that obviously from the open D string. And the next chord I'll be teaching you is the C major chord, which you take your 3rd finger, place it on the 3rd fret A string, sorry. Take your 2nd finger, put it on the 2nd fret of the D string, and your 3rd finger, and place it on the 1st fret of the B string, and you just strum that. If you're just beginners, then you're gonna find this one a little tricky because it's hard not to mute the high E string. But you got to make sure your fingers are on the tips, or as much on the tips as possible, and make sure you can hear all the notes perfectly. Okay, so again, that's your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, 2nd finger 2nd fret on the D string, 3rd finger 1st fret on the B string. Yeah, and that should look like this. Sorry, your 3rd finger's not on it. Yeah. Alright, And the next chord will be G major. Okay, so you're going to take your second finger on the third fret, sorry, and put it on the low E string. That's the string at the top, on the second fret, that is. You're going to take your first finger, place that on the second fret on the A string, and then take your third finger, take your third finger and place that on the third fret of the high E string. And again, like the C major chord, you strum all the strings. Okay, so going over that again. Second finger, third fret, low E string. It's the sixth string, sorry. You take your first finger, put it on the second fret of the A string, and take your third finger and place it on the third fret of the high E string. Okay, so that's the G major chord. My next chord I'll be showing you is the A minor chord, which is like the E major chord, but you move it all down a string. So you take your second finger, you can take your first finger, place that on the first fret of the B string, take your second finger, place that on the D string, second fret, and your third finger on the second fret on the G string. And you, again, like the A major chord, you strum that from the open A string. Alright, so I'll show you that again. Take your first finger on the first fret, of the B string. Second finger, second fret, D string. Third finger, second fret, G string. It should look like this. Yep. Alright. The next chord will be the E minor chord, which is exactly the same as your E major chord, but you just take your first finger off. So, and that's putting your second, you can do it with your first and second fingers on the second fret, A and D strings, or you can use your second and third fingers. Personally, I like to use my second and third fingers because you can do, it's easy to change for other chords. Yep, so that just looks like this. Just those two fingers. Yep. Okay, and my final chord, which might be the one of the most difficult chords, would be the D minor. Yeah. So that, you take the D minor chord. You take your first finger, and you're going to want to put that on, yeah, sorry about that. You're going to want to put it on the high E string of the first fret. You're going to want to take your second finger, put it on the second fret of the G string, and take your third finger, put it on the third fret of the B string, and it should sound like this. Apparently it's the most depressing chord out of all of the chords. Don't know why, but yeah. Yeah, so I'll just show you that again. So you take your first finger on the first fret of the high E string, take your second finger on the second fret of the G string, and your third finger, third fret of the B string. Even that's quite a stretch for me, so yeah, that's how you do it. And then I guess if you wanted to, you could start kind of trying to write your own songs using those couple of chords, like to get the chord changes and stuff. So, for example, you could just be like, that wasn't that great, but I'm sure you can do much better. So yeah, I hope you like this video, and I'll be back with some different chords in another lesson. Goodbye for now.